Well, now we'll talk about our African champion for today. Our African champion for today. So I believe you know our African champion is someone we celebrate, someone who has done great things and who has had impact on lives right here on Africa Global Radio.
African champions.
African champion.
African champions.
African champions.
Well, our African champion for today is an interesting woman, and we're talking about Ruby Nell Bridges. Ruby Nell Bridges.
You be champion.
So, Ruby Bridges was the first African American child to integrate an all white public elementary school in the South. So, in the late 1960s, a 6-year-old girl stepped into the school where she attended her first grade all alone. This courageous black child paved the way for the integration of schools at the troubled times of New Orleans. Ruby Nell Bridges, who is now a civil rights activist, was the one among 6 young Afro-American children to be enrolled into integrate white school in the American South. She was born on September 8, 1954. September 8, 1954 in Tylertown, Mississippi. Now, she was the eldest among 8 siblings. Their family had a farm, and for a better life, they moved to New Orleans. Her father got the job as a service station attendant, and her mother took night jobs to support the growing family. She, being the eldest sister, took care of the children and went to faraway school, which was segregated for black children. So for her bravery, she actually passed a test that was put out, and she became the first black girl to go into an all-white school. All the others who actually even passed didn't go, but she took the test amid the black students in order to be selected for the integrated school. Her father opposed it initially because he was afraid of inviting unnecessary trouble, but her mother favored the decision for her daughter's better future. Despite the test and being difficult, Ruby was able to pass. And on November 16th, 1960, she was escorted by 4 marshals and her mother, as she entered the city's William Franz Elementary School. On her first day, she sat in the principal's office as havoc was created by the white parents outside who were protesting against the blacks' integration with whites. On the second day, she was in her new class all alone with a white teacher, Mrs. Henry, who taught her for 1 year, and that built a valuable bond between both of them. Gradually, the turmoil subsided, and in second grade, she was in the class among other white students. She got her first taste of racism in elementary school, but under the guidance of child physicist Dr. Robert Coles and her mentor in grade 1, Mrs. Henry, she was able to cope with the hatred, and eventually she kept on with her studies. She completed her grade school at William Franz and graduated from the integrated Francis T. Nichols High School. Further, she took her degree from business school in travel and tourism. So we just want to tell Ruby Nell Bridges that
You are an African champion.
if I was back then, I don't know if I'll be able to go and do that. Being the only black girl. There's this painting that of her. She's in a white dress in the middle, and she's been escorted by 4 marshals. You have 2 in front and 2 at the back. And onto the wall behind them, you have someone writing racist remarks, and people have thrown things. But it was disturbing for such a young girl, 6-year-old, to still be brave and bold enough and step out of the car and walk into the school to face racial discrimination because of your color. She really was bold back then, and she has fought against racial segregation since then. Well, she has been our African champion. Don't forget, you can always go to our website, www.africaglobalradio.com, and you can find more about her and more about other African champions.